Hello everyone, welcome to InsurTalks with industry experts, an initiative by Mantra Labs and InsurTech100 firm building products and solutions for the changing world. Today, we have Dr. Robin Kiera from Hamburg, Germany. Dr. Robin is a consultant, personal and virtual speaker at Digital Scouting. Digital Scouting is a platform with over 70,000 followers for thought leaders, entrepreneurs and senior managers in finance and insurance to share best practices, lessons learned, and up-to-date views on tech and business trends around the world. He is a co-author to the InsureTech book, which offers essential updates, critical thinking, and actionable insight globally from startups, incumbents, investors, tech companies, advisors, and other partners in this evolving ecosystem in one volume. He also advises and mentors many startups and corporations in various industries. His other areas of expertise include brand and marketing, public relations, business, and management. Dr. Robin, a very warm welcome on behalf of Mantra Labs.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
All right. So now, since we cannot avoid the COVID situation, so my first question is on the same lines. So Europe's insurance markets are facing a severe crisis. How are carriers, agents, and insurance professionals in Europe developing measures to survive the global shutdown?
We had we have several live shows, one in German and one in English. And on the German version, we interview C-suits of the German insurance industry. And one, Christopher Lohmann from Gotha Insurance, which is a pretty large player over here, he just said that only 10% of the sales force actually is producing well, and the rest not. So, and my question was, what do they do differently? And I have been an insurance agent myself, selling insurances. So what they do is, it sounds maybe simple, but they talk to the clients, go to the client, change their value proposition and product portfolio in the crisis. We also had a show with one of the most successful agents of Allianz in Germany, Jörg Ritzius, and he said, he's producing quite well. And what he said, he and his friends are doing, in the first weeks, really help their small and mid-sized business clients to cope with the situation. And he said, well, of course, I helped my restaurant clients to sign up for some online delivery service if they did not. I mean, it's not my job as an insurance agent, but I did it, out of human reasons and because, of course, if he does good business, he's going to stay as a client. And what those agents and brokers see in the market currently, those very well doing that really invest the time and put massive effort into their business, they are flourishing, and now business comes. And I think that's super interesting. And you have others that went into gardening or watching Netflix, and of course they are not doing as well as the ones who went really well. You have other areas of distribution, like bank assurance or selling insurance via banks, which get slaughtered because most retail banks are closed. And a lot of retail banks have not found ways to actually communicate with their client base in a more sustainable way. And I think that's the situation. From the claims side, we have not seen any disastrous news yet. And I think it's also interesting to see from the life insurance, there have not been a peak in claims in term life or whole life insurance. We see even some segments, P&C, going down in claims. For example, cars are driving less burglaries because, hey, I'm at home, nobody can steal something from me, but and things like that. So there's a mixed picture. We have seen in the US the movement that insurers are actually already paying back claims. We've seen this in Spain too. In Germany, there's a situation that the insurers say, let's wait until the end of the year to really assess if we actually have the funds to pay back. And if we have, and we have seen substantial drop in claims in certain lines and businesses, we will address this. And maybe to indicate or underline the dramatic situation in sales, actually, AXA just announced the holding company of AXA just announced their revenue numbers for the first quarter, and I think it's minus 10%. And if you don't understand the insurance business, I mean, most of our premiums coming from running contracts. And if you have 10% means your new business is slaughtered. And I think that's something a lot of insurance companies should ask them. And one thing we actually do, or what our clients come to us is, and this has been a boost for our agencies actually, that they say, how can my salespeople actually still sell insurance policies when they're not allowed to visit the clients?
Exactly.
And how can my employee managers actually still help the agents to sell and help the clients in the inside? And we have actually seen a dramatic change in the way sales is managed over the last 3 months.
Exactly. So that was my going to be a follow-up question. And so how insurers can equip their agents better to do in these times of crisis to ensure more sales. So what do you think is that extra that insurers can do, the companies can do to help them?
Well, I mean, it depends what kind of philosophy you have. So a lot of insurance companies over here coming, culturally from the 19th century, top-down order and command and control culture. There was a very complex relationship between agents and the company in a lot of cases, whether you don't trust each other, and also some business practices are not as one actually wish. Good example is I actually witnessed that a big insurer, promised young people to come on board and get a portfolio of customers. Then they opened the computer on the day they opened the business, and they received only half of the customer portfolio, and the other half they said, we promised you, but we don't care. And all of this, if you have such a toxic relationship, I think it's now very, very difficult. On the other hand, you have small and mid-sized player, super nice, it's a super nice culture where they really try to help their agents and brokers, and now they have a totally different way of talking to each other. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so what are some attention hacking lessons for insurers operating in the new normal? I'm sure, new normal is a new buzzword these days. What do you think what are some attention hacking lessons which insurers should know about who will be operating in the new normal?
Well, I think I would focus on two groups. One group is actually to look at the end customer. Where is the attention of the end customer? And a good example is one of our clients is a large insurer, and we had a look at their distribution to the bank insurance part. And we looked at every single touch point they had. And funnily enough, the insurer was nowhere. And what we are now doing is we're putting them everywhere in every single touch point. This means, for example, you log into your bank account. There's a small thing for them. Then you log out and we know the data, if it's an old person, a young person, and then we can really individualize, not we, but then actually the client can individualize, distribute certain sort of content. And what's super important is please, 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 no more advertisement, no more star soccer players, sports people. Nobody cares about that. Nobody believes that, for example, Jurgen Klopp is driving an Opel. And he doesn't. He drives a Porsche, so he shouldn't do advertisement for Opel. I mean, he's a great guy, don't get me wrong. I'm severely deep respect for his, achievements as soccer coach, don't get me wrong. I'm very impressed. But, this is just, people don't believe it. And there are a lot of studies that show that. And the trick is that you produce content with the people they know in the community. You produce content with, the bank manager or the insurance salesperson actually, managing this person. It's a different way of thinking. Instead of spending 10 million euros or dollars for a high-end advertisement with some superstar, spend 10 million to produce 1,000 videos or 10,000 videos with your sales force. That's one, to really touch the end consumer. But I think what's even more important is how to communicate and how to manage your sales force, your agents and brokers or bank retail employees. There's no need that, a manager steps into the car, drives to 3 agents or banks or whatever, and, drinks coffee in the office of the sales force. Also there, I think it's super important to do this for highly selected events. But on the other hand, go there if you have 150, 200 agents you need to manage, or 50, talk to each and everyone daily. Of course, that's not possible with mail and, traveling and driving, but it's possible if you do it with content, and content they create and they care about. Also a secret, yes, you can share once in a while something your headquarters shares with you, but nobody cares about that. It's all about what is your message, what can you do, and that's my learning also from that is you can cut travel expenses by 50%. Okay, currently they're to zero, but in normal times you can cut travel expenses a lot, and you can actually increase revenue. And we have the experience up to 30% points, and I think that's super interesting. If you're a large company, you know that's some change.
I think that's a very excellent point that you made, that personalization on both fronts, from I mean, insurers to customers, like personalization towards customers in these times is important. But at the same time, right now, the revenue, I mean, or the budgeting towards or some efforts towards personalization to their agents is also needed at these times.
And let me share one secret. So what I think one of the most underestimated communication channels is our messenger systems like WhatsApp. Yeah, here in the West, WhatsApp is super popular and some other ones. But you know, we started experimenting with WhatsApp 2 years ago, and you would not, and even with the status in WhatsApp, but you would not believe how many decision makers in the insurance industry are watching my WhatsApp status. I mean, it's not because I'm fancy, but there's the attention of the people. They see it, they look at it. And we do projects where a sales manager, employed sales manager of large insurers use that distribution channel to distribute content to the agent. That's 10 times more, or sometimes even 50 times more engagement than a newsletter that's coming from the headquarters. So that's a philosophy of attention hacking. You need to look, where's the attention of your end consumer, you know, but also of your sales force. You want these people going out, burning for you, selling insurances, loving the client. And yeah, you need to be on the radar, and you need to be positively on the radar, and to give them tips and tricks. And yeah, we also have sales representatives that, you know, if they have 50 agents in their portfolio, and they're like 2 or 3 rock stars, they go to them, do small interviews, and you don't need a fancy camera or anything. You just need a phone, some sort of, you know, phone. In nowadays, and then they cut it and do it. And of course, we sometimes help with that too. But that's the philosophy of then sharing the best practices of sales in your department. Yeah, and again, it's about where's the attention, produce content, and massively, it's about masses of content, so that the people actually are so zoomed into your company that they're just thinking about the color of your company all day long.
That's a very nice line, I must say. So on that note, what are some of the technological changes you think that insurers will face in the new normal in terms of technology?
Well, I would say it's culture first. I mean, banks and insurers belong to the least liked industries around. And I think we have done a pretty good job on achieving and earning this title. You know, it's not that it's an accident. It's not that somebody else's fault. It's our fault. 2 times, because sometimes we have not been treating the customer right. And when we do something great, like saving lives, paying for ventilators, I don't know, flying masks from China to all around the world, you know, somebody finances that. And in a lot of cases, that's the insurer. And then we never talk about it. When we do something good, we never talk about it. Big problem. And I think culturally it needs to change. I think it's super important to become part of the daily life of your end consumer, but also about your agent, to really win their hearts, minds, and home screens. We need to have apps that are used. We need to be on platforms. We need to really help them provide value. And for that, we need technology. We need, of course, claims and application processes that are smooth, but that's standard. You know, don't come to me and say, oh, Robin, we have this new claim process. We have this new application process. It only takes, you know, not 8 years anymore, or eight months anymore to submit a claim. I mean, it's standard. You shouldn't actually be happy about it. This should be the totally no normal, but there are still multi-billion-dollar companies around the world that have not that don't have that. And others, you know, for example, in China, that, you know, manage their whole company through the cell phone. So when it comes to technology, I think that's a topic. I think a big game changer will be true AI, artificial intelligence, data science, data analysis is in the claims department or in the underwriting and claims, when you really have some insights there. And I'm not talking about rule-based, Excel sheets or something like that, but like true self-learning AI. But to be quite honest, I don't know a single large insurer that applies this systematically. I know a few smaller ones and some, especially in the Far East, that do it. But I think the insurance industry is way beyond other industries like e-commerce. But that's a big advantage because we can take the learnings, apply them, and crush it.
So, but like AI, insurance is right for AI, and we, like you said, I mean, AI is going to be the key. But then, why is that some companies, insurers, are still hesitant to invest in AI?
Well, I think mostly it's because Hans is sitting there, and Hans sitting there since 400 years. He has only 3 years left to retirement. He's senior VP. He makes a lot of money for leaving, coming at 9, leaving at 3:30. And he does not want the stress of that. And in a lot of cases, they don't have the knowledge and even the capabilities to understand what's that. I mean, if you made your way up in the organization in the 80s and 90s, you need to have a lot of skills and qualifications, but technological understanding or being on top of trends and tools and technology were not one of them. And that's also the reason why a lot of insurers actually get cheated by technology companies or service providers or agencies. I mean, sometimes we look at proposals and we are shocked because they're 10 times or even more than that, more expensive than for other industries, or because what they provide is horrible. But since nobody in the organization has the knowledge, or almost nobody, or is not involved in the political process, you have these things. So how to change it? To be quite honest, I think we need a massive replacement in senior decision makers, starting with the advisory board. There are a lot of senior decision makers in their 70s or even 80s that really understand technology trends. It's not an age thing, but the amount of people that I'm a lot of times part of advisory board meetings, and the amount of people think it's like a nice social event where they don't talk about business, but everything else, and have a nice presentation and get good dinner afterwards, is staggering. You need super knowledgeable people from inside, outside the industry that really check what the executives are doing there, help them when they need help, and also when they see that they are not achieving what they should, then exchange them. And why haven't we seen anywhere around the world actually my senior decision makers or an insurer hiring a chief sales officer that's from outside the industry? Why not somebody hire some Google executives or Facebook executives? Or, there's so many great companies around the world where you could hire people from. No, we always hire from the neighboring insurer. And then we are surprised that what that people produce is actually nothing else than the same old. Don't get me wrong, we have great people in the industry, we have great innovators in the industry, also people that just have been in the industry, so there are great people out there. But I think that's the biggest problem, that the vast majority of senior decision makers is out of date.
Very interesting point, actually. So now moving further, so what innovations do you see in insurance products in the short term and the long term, in the mid term, around maybe 6 to 8 months, or in the 1 year period after this crisis?
So the short term, of course, is the the adaptation of certain payment methods of I don't know the English word, but to pause payments and to lower risks and all of that. I think that's a very good example of short term reactions. In the midterm, you will see more flexible products, more lean underwriting, more lean claim management. But the big question is, have we actually seen a product, something new in the last 200 years? I don't know. I think I'm not sure if that's even necessary. What I think is necessary that we talk, what is our role in society? And our role in society is not to push products down the throat of our clients. Our role in society is, take risk. And that's our origin, actually. We take risk, we pool risks, and we stand aside those who, got hit by this risk. And I think that's super important to understand that, and to again become part of the daily life of our customers. Not only help in the moment of claim, but help before. I mean, why should we replace a car if we could have sent them a push notification? Oh, hail is coming, a thunderstorm, please put your car inside the garage. I mean, there are a million things we could do. Or why should we, finance super expensive healthcare measurements if we could actually have helped a person to live healthier, do more sports? I mean, we know so much as industry, and I think that's something I'm looking for midterm and long term. That insurer out there take their role. I mean, I can tell you a funny story. The other day I was in a board meeting with a CEO, and we said, you need to be part of the daily life. You need massively with your client. You need to be there. You need to be in their mind all the time. And then he said, but Robin, I don't want that the client calls us because that triggers cost. And I was like totally freaking out. I mean, not only innerly, but also, probably people could read my face. But I was like, that's a totally wrong way of thinking about it, because you want to be part of the daily life, and that the people call you, because then you are perceived as a solution. But again, that's where the world we come from. We come from a world where insurers are in the background. We don't want that the person calls us. We send letters nobody understands, and hopefully the person doesn't understand that he pays now more. But I think that's something insurers that go down that road are super vulnerable, and we see examples in the market that try to go down a different route. And I think those are the insurers that will prevail.
On that note, I want to talk about another aspect of technology. In this crisis, insurers are now taking the distribution process online. So how do you think they are now being a legacy, having legacy systems? How do you think are insurers now adjusting to this new model? In certain companies, still mostly in developing countries, a lot of processes happen manual. And so do you think that this crisis will be the impetus to take the entire business model or distribution process online in insurance?
Well, not only online, but I would say digitally. I mean, it's not only in, it's everywhere around the world, but I've seen this here. I've seen this in other countries when we visit companies. You have one room is here, another room is here. A person here puts data into a computer, prints it out with a post wagon. It goes through the whole company to another person, another room, and this person takes this printed out thing and types it into the computer. I think in the year 2020, it's, I think, super rude to every human being to do senseless tasks. I mean, it's not only killing companies if you do this on a massive scale because you are more inefficient than others, and others will call you out on that. But I think it's totally unfair to humans to make them do tasks that can be done by machines. The big question is, you need to educate the people that they can do different tasks, and you need to motivate them actually to go out there and educate yourself. But we live in times in which the knowledge of the world is out there for free. So I think there are a lot of possibilities to educate yourself. Because once a CEO of a large insurer asked me, "Oh, Robin, how much money do you think we should invest in educating our employees?" I said, "I have a good answer. You like it. Zero." You don't need to hire millions of consultants and educators. Just send them your favorite YouTube videos.
Sure. I want to take this path a little bit towards technology companies, InsurTech companies, actually. So, what do you think? What do InsurTech companies need to do in this time of crisis to make sure, to create that market attractiveness, to help the insurers to take more technology? To adapt technology and AI and these kind of systems?
Well, I think as an InsurTech company, as any company, you need to understand that since March or wherever around the world, which time the crisis hit, everything you have planned until it's over. There is no plans from before. No, it's over. It's changed. you need to sit down, and if you have not done it, you need to do it now. Sit down, what kind of value proposition can I propose to my existing clients and my future clients, including a new pricing structure and a new, a pilot structure where they can try out my services. I think it's super important that you have like super small packages of your service, and then the insurer can try it out super quickly. No pilot, no month of something. Just try it out, downloadable, super easy to access. Don't aim for the 1 million, 10 million, $100 million deal, but do super small stuff. And then they're hooked, and then you can grow from there. But I like it. I saw some software company actually also slashing prices down 70-80% in some cases. And I mean, it's not always the question of pricing, but when people on InsurTech say, oh, we cannot sell anymore, and like, think about your pricing, think about your model. I mean, we at Digital Scouting, it's an open secret that we ask our clients to pay up to 100% upfront, but we are also happy to deliver a discount for that. And, and you need to be flexible in those minds when you work with insurers. I think of course, you need to have a value proposition. It needs to have a technological event. You need to solve a pain point, but make it as easy as possible for the insurer to actually try it out. And of course, also super important, if nobody knows your business, then you need actually to make your business known. I mean, you need to be really on the mind of the decision makers of the insurance industry, that they know that you're providing a solution for a problem they have.
True. So in the earlier part of our conversation, in insurance, there are certain lines which are seeing an upsurge, but at the same time, the other insurance lines such as travel, motor, they are getting affected because let's say, I mean, because of the lockdown, there is no use of cars and motors, and the travel industry is hit massively. So what do you think will be a road to recovery for these insurance lines?
Super difficult. I mean, I wish that we go back to normal like yesterday, but I think that's not going to happen. I talked the other day to Chris Skinner, who's like a best-selling author in the finance space and super known expert there, and he said he's calculating that it's going to take up to 2 years. So this is like a significant paradigm shift. Maybe we'll never go back to normal. I mean, I've been traveling and also business traveling for every small thing. I'm super happy to do a lot of remote workshops now, to be quite honest. To get me out of my office, it's going to be like a really big challenge from now on. But what does it mean? It means that it's unpredictable how it's going to play out. I don't know. To be quite honest, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to just wait and see how things pan out. So any something like a gist or summary or some tips that you can give to insurers out there, insurers and insurtechs, anything that you would like to add?
I think what's super important is to bypass the moment of shock. I mean, I think most insurers have done that already. We have passed that crisis mode and addressed the situation. So pass by the shock. Then do not spend too much time on social media or news outlets covering the crisis. You will not get any substantial information out of there. If there's substantial information, it will reach you anyway. Then I think what's super important is to really understand that it's day zero right now. It's day zero. That means you need to really reevaluate everything. What does it mean? What kind of products do I have? What kind of clients do I have? Which clients do have the money that I need for my revenue? What kind of additional products I can sell? What kind of new pricing models I can do? What can I do for my clients? How can I up and cross sell? And to really, it's time for, and this is the fourth thing, for massive amount of action. It's not time for Netflix, it's not time to do the garden, it's time for massive action for everybody. And by the way, also if you're an employee at an insurance company, I mean, if the dust settles and large parts of the economy are laying down, also insurers will feel that, and they will do mass layoffs. So it's really important that you belong to those people bringing value to the company, or you at least already nurtured your network. And then last but not least, it's even more important than ever to really think about where is the attention of my customers, or my target group can also be sales managers, and really provide value to them and try to get on their radar. And I mean, our claim is we make your customer come to you. And I think you need to do this to make your customer come to you and, rip the products you have out of your hands.
So on the note of make your customers come to you, I think it was a wonderful session. Thank you so much for participating. It was such an honor to have you. It was such a pleasure to interact with you. Thank you for all the insights that you provided, and have a nice day.
Yeah, you too. And for all those out there who do not follow me on LinkedIn or Twitter or TikTok yet, please do so. I'd be happy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.